Reunited, and it feels so good. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a live edition of the KC Laboratory presented by Emprise Bank. Member FDIC, our amazing partners in Possible here at KC Sports Network. I am beyond elated to be with friends, plural, Craig Stout and Maddie Lane here on a Wednesday. Maddie, what's good?
I'm just kind of surprised that you're here when Craig is here. I thought you were avoiding him for a reason. I was kind of enjoying our alone time, our one-on-one conversations that we had with.
You're talking about you and Kent having the one-on-one conversation, right? You want me gone? Okay.
No.
I'll take it.
We had
I feel like
Craig. We're okay.
And it was the worst year of my life. No, I'm glad that we're all here. This will be fun. I'm also ready. I'm locked and loaded. We started a couple minutes late here, and every single one of these positional rankings with only two of us has gone like 65 minutes. So I am ready for a 93-minute podcast. Now, if there's three of us ready to rank cornerbacks, which I feel like was actually a pretty tricky job.
It is a little bit of a tricky job, but luckily somebody like me, doesn't like to wax poetic about quarterback play. So definitely not going to go for an hour and 40 here. That's my prediction. This is just going to be a long show, and it's going to be the best. It's going to be so fun.
You just set the over under on this show at 100 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to see. I you know what? I probably won't be trying to make, big quick transitions on this one. I'm just going to be enjoying it here. I got to enjoy Craig's mustache, which is just, it's sterling.
Me and Andy Reid, baby.
You guys are just the spitting images of each other. But appreciate everyone.
Selleck, no other famous mustaches. It's just Andy Reid and then Craig Stout, the Renaissance man.
Bigger gap between those two, but yes, still just the two.
I did want to bring up before we get into this show, there are still a few open spots available for the KCSN golf tournament. That the Tacos and Bourbon golf tournament on August 18th at Creekmore is going to be an incredible time. We are going to have a lot of fun out there. Tacos for Life will be out there. Holiday Distillery will be out there. All kinds of raffle prizes, all kinds of great stuff as we try to raise money for the KCSN Foundation. Does a lot of different things here in Kansas City, trying to love on our city with, stuff like food insecurity, stuff like supporting kids that may not have the same kind of Christmas that others might have, helping with children's literacy, all kinds of other stuff that we are doing at KC Sports Network. So if you want to play some golf and help support the initiatives that we're doing within the city, link is in the description of the show. We do have a few more spots available, and we'd love to have you come hang out with us at the KCSN Tacos and Bourbon golf tournament. Again, link is in the description of the show if you want to sign a foursome up, and we might even take singles at this point. I don't know, Tucker, are they taking singles? We can maybe just reach out to us if they're taking singles or not. We'll figure it out. We don't know.
I don't know.
Hit us up or check out the KCSN Discord. You can, either of those things would probably work just fine. But yeah, appreciate y'all, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We are kicking things off with our Lessons Learned series, looking back at the 2024.
Hold on. Pause. Time on the field. Craig, if you were able to clone a player 21 times and build a team of just a singular player, which player would you choose to beat all other potential clone teams?
Lance Long. Okay, that's a deep cut for anybody that followed Todd Haley. I wish I had 53 Lance Longs on my team.
Oh, wow.
You're doing the two generations thing again like you did pre-podcast. Tucker and I don't get this, but you and Kent right in your wheelhouse.
Totally.
Come on. That is awesome. Yeah, Todd Haley said, I wish I had 53 Lance Longs.
To be fair, I forgot about most of what Todd Haley has said.
Oh,
everything I remember from Todd Haley is not football related. No, give me a real player, though.
Real player that can play every position. I assume. I'm sorry. You said clone 21 times, and I had the Lance Long thing locked.
Sure, that's fair.
So, I think it's got to be like a safety. I'm going to go Brian Cook just for a versatility standpoint. Somebody that's big enough to be able to play a little bit more in the box and stop the run, but is capable of being back in coverage a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. Just looking for somebody that can play every position easily as an NFL street aficionado. You got to have that balance.
It didn't have to be a Chief.
Oh, what the hell? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Micah Parsons is the answer then. It's Micah Parsons by a long shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was so thrown off by your choice. I didn't know how to respond for the longest minute. I was just dumbfounded. That was worse than Josh Allen.
If I had said Brian Cook, I would have been eviscerated and forced
You would
to
have.
quit the show.
I was trying so hard to
we are
find
here
the
to
logic.
talk Chiefs right now.
That's
we have not
fair.
transitioned to the rest of the NFL. My brain is locked in Kansas City.
That's fair. I got one follow-up. How many minutes could a team of Josh Allen's play against a team of, I don't know, let's call it Trent Williams's, before they just quit? How many run plays before the Josh Allens just quit and forfeit the game?
I don't know. How liberal we being with flags for throwing punches on the field? Because the snap count goes way down if Trent Williams is allowed to throw hands.
Oh, no, Kid and I had a nice long discussion about how a team of Trent Williams's would hold up against a team of Josh Allen's, and I think the game is over 7 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't think it's particularly close either.
I think however
Trent
many
Williams
Josh
is
Allens,
so athletic.
however many Josh Allens are in the box on the very first snap, they're all going back into the ground with 330 pounds landing on top of them, and then repeat, and then repeat, and then repeat. I don't think you're getting out of the first quarter.
I don't think so either.
First quarter?
Give me Micah Parsons though. I would like to see.
I
would see a Micah Parsons team.
I like Parsons. And the more I thought about it, I even tweeted this out like, hey, I think the super freaky athletic offensive tackles we're sleeping on because anybody smaller than Myles Garrett has no chance to stop him. Micah Parsons has a chance, but he might still be too small to stop power or triple option from these offensive tackles all the time. But I would at least give him a chance. I think Micah Parsons is a top tier answer. Josh Allen was a terrible answer.
You don't think they're throwing? You don't think the team of Trent Williams is throwing the ball, Matty?
Listen, I think we are running the wing tee. we might just push all the way down the field. I haven't decided yet, but no, that ball is not going in the air.
I would like the tape to be run on if I actually picked Josh Allen or if I just said that Josh Allen would be more competitive than Matty thought.
No one's going to run the tape.
No one's going to run the tape. There's
7 minutes of the first quarter.
This says, I will say the thing that the best point Matty made, the only good point Matty made with that whole argument. If the Trent Williams is just tush push the whole time, that's probably what
they're literally going to run the option. They're going to pancake the Josh Allen's every play. I think you're severely underestimating the quit factor after you get completely steamrolled by a guy that weighs 100 pounds more than you 3 straight plays. The quit factor is high.
And again, Trent Williams is not slow. He's a very athletic individual. It's not like you're putting a slug out there.
And you're lining up nose to nose. It's not like we're talking space here. We're talking nose to nose. You're going to have no defense midway through the first quarter.
I like Micah Parsons off the edge and, a little bit off ball. I like that matchup. I hate that matchup on the interior. The team of Trent Williams is going to just smoke him on the interior. So, yeah.
But can the Micah Parsons hold up enough for the linebacker Micah Parsons and the safety Micah Parsons?
No.
To close.
I've seen Trent Williams collect some pretty good linebackers at the NFL level. I think he will have no problem climbing up to the linebacker known as Micah Parsons.
Also, side note here, I feel really good about the over on this 100 minutes right now. We're 10 minutes in. We have not gotten to any topic yet. I'm feeling real good about it.
So I had to sidetrack us.
We're making Tucker earn it tonight.
I also need to turn my fan on in here. It's quite toasty.
Yeah. Is that what your voice was cracking earlier?
No, I actually, my throat's a little sore. It doesn't feel good. I have some tea and everything. So you're making fun of me while I'm sick. Good job, Kent.
Wait, so what happened? What happened? Are you like, did you get a little cold while you were on vacay? Like, what happened?
I couldn't tell you. I'm just a little, I was a little lethargic today. Until I got on saw Craig's face, obviously. And then I was drinking some tea because my throat was sore. And then then you're over here just making fun of me because I don't feel good because I'm under the weather. Because I potentially could be deathly ill and you're just poking fun at me. That's okay.
Well, I apologize for nothing. Let's move on to week 17.
Come on, host. Carry through, power through.
11 minutes.
I can't even. I'm sorry.
I did just run the tape, by the way, and I'm pretty sure Maddie actually brought up Josh Allen. I think Maddie brought up his own opposition is what happened.
Yes, I 100% put that in there as like a little lure, and Kent jumped on it. He had no problem taking it, but I definitely brought it up.
Yeah, no. So Maddie created his own adversity. That's what great players do.
Just like, listen, me and Michael Jordan, same thing. My middle name's James. What? MJ, same thing.
I was gonna say this is just a glimpse into the DMs right now, where Maddie posits a theory and tries to get somebody to argue with him. It's his theory. He's arguing both sides.
I'm really good at it, though.
Yeah,
I have suckered everybody into this before.
Yeah, at least literally everyone has ever interacted with you. You're in a group with strangers in our Dynasty Fantasy League, and I'm pretty sure you've already triggered them too.
Yes, I made them all mad about barbecue.
I have. Craig, did we know that Maddie's middle name was James?
I don't know anybody's middle names. I don't know why.
I feel like we've had this conversation and Maddie did not give it up freely.
It's a huge secret, given it's like my dad's name, my dad's first name, my grandpa's first name, his dad's first name. Yeah, it's a big secret. I was almost a fourth instead of a Matthew. I was almost a James Edward Lane the fourth.
Ooh. I'm gonna call you Jimmy from now on, I think is what's gonna happen.
That's what my dad goes by. You can do that, but
Jimmy Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Matter days are over. They are cooked.
They've been over.
Well, no,
break it to you.
They're coming back. Amy's coming back.
A different day. You can't use the same name for a different day. We are 13 minutes in. And we're This is true. This is true.
Yeah, in fairness, Maddie does also do this with the KCSN Discord. That's right. He does like to gaslight people on there too. Very good at it. It's one of his best traits. Is gaslighting and convincing everyone he's 5'9".
I'm good at that too.
Yeah, you're very good at it.
Big truck
right.
guy, though.
Okay, let's try to start the show.
Welcome back to another edition of the KC Laboratory.
Week 17 of the 2024 season. We have rewatched that game. I didn't watch it on Netflix like I said I was. I'm sorry. Scared to compete. Really wanted to watch
authentic.
The pre and post game shows for all those two that were on Netflix. Just, it was basically like every media outlet had at least one person working the Christmas Day game. It was kind of crazy. But Chiefs win the game 29-10, secure themselves that illustrious 1 seed in the AFC, and win in dominant fashion, scoring 13 points in the fourth quarter to close things out. Craig Stout, what was your lesson learned from week 17 against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It's Christmas Day game. They laid an egg in this position the year before. Chris Jones not playing in this game. Patrick Mahomes still hurt, was pulled from the end of the Browns game the week before, still nursing an injury on a short week. And this was just dominant by the Chiefs offense. Patrick Mahomes was unreal in this game, threw for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 29 for 38. And it just, that stat line doesn't even do it justice. There was vintage Mahomes plays. There's one where he flicks a ball 9 yards downfield, kind of, does the little underhand toss to Samaje Perine on a 3rd down conversion. But everything was on easy mode. It didn't matter if the Steelers threw man at him and threw zone at him, threw what different looks at him, threw blitzes, whatever. Didn't matter. Mahomes was able to scramble, get yards. Mahomes was able to stand in the pocket and find guys downfield. And then most importantly, he was getting the ball out quick to the right guy. Everybody was open. Like it was like you were playing on rookie mode in Madden. That's what it felt like rewatching this game. It was so overwhelmingly positive for the offense outside of the second quarter. That wasn't great. The other 3 quarters were just dominance by the offense there. And it resulted in what ends up as a 19-point win. Should have been more. It really wasn't close at any point in time. But I was just so impressed walking away from that. I'd forgotten how well Mahomes played in this game.
I forgot that this was a Christmas Day game. That's what I.
Did you forget it was a Christmas Day game while you were watching the game?
I mean, it never registered to me that it was a Christmas Day game while watching because I watched it on I watched the All 22. And so why would I know that it's a Christmas Day game? There's nothing. There's no Santa Clauses on the field. So
it was after the game when Andy put on the Santa Claus outfit. That's when it happened.
Where was the end zone view of that? So I had one take on the offensive side of the ball. Mesh. That's my take. That is my take for the offense. The Steelers came out and said, we're going to play a lot of man coverage, just kind of like the Houston Texans did, because it went well for them the week before. Or 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks before they played the Texans? I think it was.
Because it was the Browns the week before.
Yeah, it went so well for the Texans. We are going to do the same thing. And it went poorly. Now, I do think Mahomes, to Craig's point, played a good game. Like, he navigated the pocket very well. It wasn't always just wide open, like underneath drag routes on the crossing and stuff like that. But generally speaking, the Steelers made it very easy for the Chiefs and Andy Reid to do what they wanted to do. And it allowed the offense to quite simply just move up and down the field whenever they wanted to. And I think that gave a little bit, along with the Texans game that we talked about, false hope that come playoff time, the offense was figuring it out. But still, within a vacuum of this game, the offense did look good. It's just even watching it back now, I'm like, wow, they did a lot of the same couple things, and it just kept working, which is good, but woo.
This was the most fool's gold game of all the games that we watched. Just because, this was the last time you were going to see the Chiefs before the playoffs, right? Like this was the last.
Hold on.
Well, okay. This was the last time you're going to see.
It's the game you guys are watching next Monday. I'm just calling the shot
Wednesday.
Oh, I really hope it's Wednesday. I really do.
I'm not letting it be a Monday.
We'll bypass. We'll skip. All right, the next game we're gonna watch. We're just not gonna do one on Monday. Anyways, it was the most false hope game. Like you saw the vertical passing game. You saw a 49-yard play down the field to Justin Watson. You saw like Travis Kelce looked very good in this game. Had a big touchdown. Xavier Worthy, big game, but also caught a touchdown. You saw some really good moments from the offensive side of the ball, and it gave you that false hope. You started to see Hollywood Brown integrated into the offense, where 4 catches, 46 yards. Is that the most he had all season? I think that was the highest total that he had for the entirety of the year, if I remember correctly.
Might be right.
I gotta go look at that. Well, we'll figure it out. But yeah, there was so many things on the offensive side of the ball that gave you hope, and then you see them just take care of business. You see them play their best football in this game. The special teams did some good things, even though Nico Remigio fumbled. Some good returns, had some good moments there. It was just a more complete game, and everything after this was playoffs. So I get why we felt the way we did, because it kind of just felt like they were doing what they did in 2023, where it was like, okay, we're kind of figuring things out. We're slogging through. We're trying to work through some things. Oh, we're going to peak at the right time. We're going to close the season strong late, and then we're going to play our best football in the playoffs. And they did until the Eagles game. I mean, I think they crescendoed at the Bills in the AFC Championship game. But yeah, it was a ton of fool's gold. My one take though, because that really wasn't a take, that was just talking. Russell Wilson,
over.
Russell Wilson stinks. He is so bad. He is just so bad. And I feel bad for the New York Giants if Russell Wilson has to start for you in 2026 or 2025. I apologize. I am so sorry to all of you. I apologize to all Giants fans for that happening.
I mean, he didn't. He ran the ball fine. I mean, that was okay. I think he had like 55 yards rushing, and all of them were on third downs for conversion. So, like, if you look at the box score, I think they were around 50% on third downs. The Steelers were, and so many of them were just Russell Wilson breaking contain because he was getting hit all the time and running away from the linebackers, from the defensive ends. That wasn't good from a defensive perspective. The rest of the run defense was also really not good. I believe, Jaylen Warren ran for almost 6 yards a clip. Like, overall, the run defense was not great. But to your point, Kent, Russell Wilson was abysmal in this game and should have had even less yardage if George Pickens isn't there just hauling in things that he has no business hauling in. It was a really good George Pickens game when he was able to get the ball. Trent McDuffie did a good job on him, but just one of those matchups where George comes down with the ball. But Russ was awful, just really, truly awful in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers' offense was pretty bad after like the first 3-4 starts that Russ made. Like once they made the switch, that Steelers' offense just kind of fell flat, and it was to be expected. He was really bad in this one. Offensive line didn't play particularly well. They got a little bit, I don't want to say they got things going on the ground, but they had a couple chunk plays on the ground, which was unfortunate to see, like from the Chiefs side of it. But generally speaking, the defense played well. I spent most of my time with this game watching one specific player on defense, Jaden Hicks. I wanted to see how he did in this game because he was playing against starters who were still playing for a chance to make the playoffs, and he had a pretty big role, and he was kind of playing all over the place. So I very much dialed in on Hicks for this game to see what, just how it looked. And I see some, excuse me, I see some flashes in what he's got going on there, but he also still looked like a rookie. In some spots, he was a little hesitant to get physical at times. He actually allowed Warren to make a big cutback on his longest run was because Hicks kind of froze and didn't come down aggressively. There was a few times where I thought that he was a little late when he was closing or running the alley to really gather himself and like try to lower his shoulders to deliver a hit. So there were times where I thought that he was operating a tick slower than what we were used to seeing from him at Washington State, and also a little bit of getting used to physicality. Freiermuth had a nice big catch on him for essentially just doing the Gronkowski, where he runs in, gives him a little shove at the top of the route and broke away. So good performance, but I do think there was enough signs of like, hey, he's still a rookie right now. And so I think we just gotta, I don't want to say temper our expectations for him going to the next season, but like there was enough here to say like, hey, there's definitely plenty of learning that needs to be done going into next year. So like, let's make sure that we aren't just like expecting him to be Justin Reed from day one.
I think it's also worth kind of mentioning this was the third game in 11 days for that rookie too. Trying to adapt to that is probably got to be a pretty big challenge in and of itself as well. Not to completely,
wasn't on the all 22.
Dismiss. It's true. Didn't know it was Christmas. Didn't know it was the third game. Tape don't lie, baby.
Listen, there's whistles for a reason, buddy.
No context. No context. All 22 right there, baby.
This is tremendous. But yeah, I mean, like probably a slog for a rookie too. Not too.
And it wasn't bad. I want to be very clear. It wasn't bad. There was just like moments where there was just moments he looked like a rookie, which you would expect for a rookie to look like a rookie. It was just, I wanted to really focus him on this game. And there wasn't mental errors. He did a good job when he was locked into coverage. He did a good job with his rotations. I thought that he did a good job never being out of place when he was supposed to run the alley or hold contain. Like he did everything completely well and fine. There was some moments where the physicality of the NFL seemed to catch him by surprise, or where I thought he was a tick late and a little indecisive. And it did cost him a couple times, especially like I said, that one big Warren run was a pretty big one.
Mm-hmm. I've got one more. Felix Anudike-Uzomah's best rep that he's had in his professional career happened in this game. And it was really clean. It's not one of those that, maybe when he was drafted, you expected where it's just burst off the line, the tackle can't keep up and all of that. No, he actually got off the line a little bit late. Tackle was able to get his hands on him. He was able to clear the hands, dip around, and come up with a sack. It was a really good play. It was a really good thing. We've talked about Felix a lot and about how he's grown in his hand usage. He's tried to get stronger, play the run better. things like that, wins like that, you look at a little bit more. It's like, oh, that's what it looks like when it's all together, when it's not perfect for him. Again, getting off the line on the snap exactly when you're looking for it. But yeah, it was good, really good rep for Felix.
Against Dan Moore, one of those free agents that was being looked at potentially by the Kansas City Chiefs in a very thin tackle market. And he winds up getting paid by the Tennessee Titans. So good job. Good job by Felix Anudike-Uzomah making a big play. Let's figure out what game Maddie and I are watching on Monday. We have 5 left or 4. Is it 4 left?
Week 8.
You have 4 left, and there's a 50% chance you're watching a Broncos game too, by the way, because there are 2 both Broncos games are left. The AFC divisional game is left, and then week 13 versus the Raiders, which is the game that ended by Aiden O'Connell forgetting he had to catch a snap.
Didn't we have to watch Chargers games back to back already?
I think you did, yeah. So like it's a very real possibility you go Broncos. I did have a singular take on the Steelers game. This is contrary to Maddie. This is when I knew Jaden Hicks was going to be a star because he stood over George Pickens and gave him the double thumbs down.
He did. That was this game.
This game where he went double thumbs down,
15-yarder.
It didn't matter,
but it was pass breakup. He had a good pass breakup on that play too.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboy. George Pickens. Okay, I'll spin the wheel.
I'll get the sun in his eyes next time. Not a player knocking the ball out of his hand. This is the sun. Let's go.
Week 13 versus the Raiders.
Let's get it. Week 18 still on the board for next Wednesday.
This was the game I was at. This was Black Friday, Maddie. They won't tell you that on the All 22, but this was Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell him. My notes. Don't spoil it for him.
Sorry.
No, how many games in 11 days was this? Was this game 2 in 11 days?
All right. I'm trying to do the math here. Let me look real quick because I gotta look at the calendar.
Okay.
Because there's a chance that I think there's a chance that the first show after training camp starts, we're talking about week 18 versus the Denver Broncos.
That sounds
no,
perfect.
We're not.
Training. No, we'll be done before then.
All right. So there's 4 more episodes. We've got the 16th, and then the 23rd would be the last week we're doing this. And the first practice is the 22nd.
It'd be the first practice. You guys had 4 more episodes coming into this week before camp started. Yeah.
So we might be talking about week 18 versus the Broncos, in the D block. We'll call it the C block.
I think you should just delete week 18 from the Wheel of Games.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
That's the
not.
game left that matters.
Yeah, Kingsley played guard in that game.
I'll tell you what, we can drop the other 3 games and we'll just watch week 18 every single show.
Sounds good.
Only
go for it.
Week 18.
We'll do it quarter by quarter, actually. So next Monday will be cool. First quarter.
Just drag out the pain. Oh my
Wednesday
goodness!
Will be the second quarter.
Over's looking good, Craig.
Does Carson Wentz have a job yet?
No.
Yeah. He's hunting deer.
Why would he have a
Living
job?
his best life right now.
He's working at Cabela's.
That'd actually be a good job for him.
I don't think he needs a job.
He'd work it well there.
I think he's fine. He got paid. I was the MVP for 8 weeks of a season once money.
Well,
and now he's
can't take us to break so we can get to the corner rankings.
Fine. Go Tuck.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, there's nothing that beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And there's no simpler way to get in on the action than by downloading the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Thanks, everyone, hanging out with us on a Wednesday in July. We are 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks from the Kansas City Chiefs kicking off training camp in St. Joseph. We have almost achieved summer. Still some very ridiculous takes flying out there over the last month or so for the Kansas City Chiefs. I wrote about one really dumb one in the KCSN Substack. You can check that out today. It's available for you today if you want to go check that out. But we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be ranking cornerbacks because Craig Stout's here. And when Craig Stout's here, you got to do defensive players. Yeah, you got to do defensive players.
Hell yeah.
So
we did tight ends last week, Kent.
We did do that. We landed on tight ends because we tried to do a defensive position.
Correct.
And an offensive
We tried to go
together.
1-1. Yeah.
And we quickly realized that a 65-minute episode after one position group.
Well, and now we're going to be doing this into the start of the season. We're just going to be doing this for the rest of the season. Okay.
I think we think better.
Maybe are we going to be ranking positions like during week 1 of the 2025 season? There's a chance.
No, there's not.
No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I know.
Let's kick this thing off. I think we give Craig Stout the floor and let him kick things off with his first tier.
Okay. Yeah. Starting with my first tier at number 25, Christian Binford.
25. Let's go.
That's low.
Number 24, Garrett Wilson.
No, he really did?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Number
amazing.
23,
This is
Cooper
perfect.
DeJean. Number 22, Jamel Dean. Number 21, AJ Terrell. 20
Okay.
is Jerron Bland. 19 is Darius Slay. 18, Jair Alexander. 17, Joey Porter Jr. 16, rookie Travis Hunter. Yes, this is for 2025. I expect he's going to be incredible. 15, DJ Reed. 14, Reek Woolen. 13, Byron Murphy. 12, Jalen Ramsey. And 11, Denzel Ward. Were you guys expecting something different? We're starting with 25, right?
Listen,
You guys
I can
did
do it on the
25.
fly. I could do it.
I couldn't.
Okay, this is gonna be an interesting list. I like it. I like it. I like what you got. I like the confidence there.
My question.
Tucker, next time, don't put my face on the logo.
Oh no, definitely.
Don't.
Faces are all over these suckers, fellas. I just want you guys to know.
I have
25.
I have that picture of Craig in the locker room interviewing Tyreek in the media scrum of Tyreek where he's grumpy. I can send that to you, Tuck.
Do you know that picture that I took on this graphic here? This is a visual gag, right, on an audio medium from last week's lab. From the last time, I just took a screenshot. Is all I did.
So, okay. No, I guess the one I'm going to have a question about is Binford seems a little low because he was coming off a pretty good year. Why
He's
do you
coming
hate
off of
Christian
an
Binford?
excellent year. He's coming off of an excellent year. I just don't anticipate that the structure is going to be good enough around him in Buffalo this year. I'm expecting a regression this year. I totally agree with it. He was really good this year. I have no qualms with anybody putting him higher. I'm projecting that he's going to be worse, mostly because, structure around him is not going to be as good. And Buffalo is where corners go to die. So eventually a good season will regress to the mean.
Why did Denzel Ward slip out of your top 10?
Denzel Ward slipped out of my top 10 because I like some guys better, Kent.
Good answer. Let me give my first tier, I guess.
Okay, start at 25.
Oh no.
Oh, I love this picture. Never mind.
This is a screenshot from when we did the draft previews. Remember the player profiles?
No.
I
Barber.
love the
Oh,
smugness.
You and Barber, the most fun videos ever.
I love the smugness.
It's just
I'm terrified of what my picture is going to be, honestly.
No, yours is the best one.
Goodness.
I have a good picture of Maddie too. If you need it, Tuck.
Hey, you can't put that out there on YouTube.
I tiered my first tier as the elite slot players, and I put them all in the back end of my top 10. Play outside once, Taron Johnson. No, Taron Johnson, DJ Reed, and Marlon Humphrey sit in my top 10 in the back end of the top 10. They are the elite slot players in the National Football League. That is my first tier.
Taron Johnson did not make my top 25.
He did not. I was going to ask about that one, but I was like, I didn't want to be this guy, but I got to be this guy. DJ Reed doesn't really play in the slot, right? I don't want you
does.
Comments. No.
Yes, he does.
5'7". No, he doesn't. I don't know how to break this to you.
Yes, he does.
According to this is PFF, but this is also just my eye knowledge. I'm pulling it up now. He played 11 snaps in the slot last year, 15 the year before, 7 before that, 24. I'm sorry. I had to be, I'm saving you from the comments.
He is short, Kit. You're right. He is a shorter cornerback. You are correct.
I literally, okay. Maybe it was just from a condensed split, but I literally, one of the plays I was watching today was him making this incredible blitz.
Listen, you had there's 11 out of like 850
I caught the one.
You found one.
Oh, God.
No, he's a very good corner. He didn't make
Tucker, do you have a sad picture of me that you can put in really quick?
No, but I could do this.
But he was outside my top 10. It wouldn't even been like one of my first guys in. I don't think he'd have been a little bit lower, but he is very good. I do struggle with the concept of a 5'9" corner being an outside corner. And you think it shows up for Trent McDuffie, it shows up for DJ Reed. And I think even more so because he's not as athletic. So that's what held him out from being in my top tier. Do you have any questions for Kent's bottom tier?
You just need to
no.
Take a minute to dunk on me even further.
I don't.
I guess.
I get the Teron Johnson love. Again, I
pre-apologize.
I've got Binford that low. I have Johnson.
It's okay. I made fun of you being sick earlier, Maddie. It's okay.
Yeah, you made fun of me for dying.
No, DJ Reed's a very good football player. I just can't get over the height limitation there. That is a problem for me. He's had a really good career. I expect him to continue that in Detroit. But there's some big receivers that he's going to be going up against in that division. So I
should kick him inside for 2025 is what they should.
Listen, you have a chance at full redemption. If he plays as a slot corner this year, you're going to come back in just guns blazing.
Well, just windmill dunk on Maddie and I.
You hated on my Derek Stingley takes last year, and he turned out to be pretty good. So
I don't know any hating that was done.
Oh.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I say I don't. No. I probably don't believe my thoughts either. I probably just said them to say them, if I'm being honest.
This is just one of Maddie's gaslights for you. Yeah.
Probably.
Anyways.
Okay, I guess we can do my bottom tier. I went the same direction as Kent here. I did Let's Go, the Penguin. I also I also went with slot corners here at the bottom. So at number 10, we have Diamador Lenore. At number 9, we have Cooper DeJean, even after a rookie year. And number 8 was Marlon Humphrey. These guys all did play in the slot. We have seen Humphrey play outside some, and I don't think it went as good. DeJean, we haven't seen play outside of the NFL level. Lenore, when he has had to play outside because of injuries, hasn't been as good. So, like, I very clearly want to say, hey, these guys are slot-only guys. If they weren't playing in the slot, they would be lower. So I do recognize some positional limitation maybe with this group. However, I think these three guys are very good. They kind of change how well your defense can play. They all play the run pretty well at this point in their career. They're all really good in coverage. And I really do think that Cooper DeJean it might very quickly find his way out of this group and higher up, even if he only plays in the slot, because that boy kind of nice.
Yeah, he is kind of nice there. My question kind of settles with the rest of the corners in the Niners room. Is Lenore going to get to play in the slot that often? He had Charvarius Ward on the outside. They got to rely on that a little bit more. I waffled on Lenore because he had a good year last year. I waffled on that a little bit and just decided he's the number one now. And I don't know if I trust him as the number one in the same way.
They brought in Renardo Green last year, who played a lot and actually played pretty well. So like he's going to lock down one of the outside spots. I honestly don't. If he moves outside, I guess like full time, that probably does change where I rank him, and he probably bumps out for a Devon Witherspoon or you had Garrett Williams. Those were the other two young slot corners that I was trying to decide on for that spot. I went with Lenore. Because I think he probably is the most natural in coverage of that group. But if he plays outside, that probably does impact where he goes. He does drop out then because he's not near as good outside.
Yeah, they signed Trey Brown. So I didn't know if that was going to mean that Brown was going to play. Anyway, I liked Lenore. He was definitely in contention for my 25, but I just, as I looked at it, I couldn't fit him in.
Craig, have you ranked 25 anything
in my life?
In the episodes I've missed?
No.
Is this just a bit for just cornerbacks?
Not a bit. I ranked 25 cornerbacks.
It's tough. No, I get it because I have a long list of guys that were on the outside. And with corners, this is why it's hard, is because, I mean, as you'll see as I go through my tiers, like there's different stuff. If you're going to it's hard to mix in slot corners with outside corners, with zone corners, with man cover corners. Like it's hard to do it all. So like when I'm breaking out, I have like probably 10 guys on the outside of my list that are like, they just missed one of these groupings that I have in the top 10. And like, so it's just, it got hard. I understand.
It did.
All right. So Craig, I guess you just tell us what you've got next. Are you doing the next 10 or what, like, what's your next tier?
Yeah, no, I have a tier at the bottom of my top 10 here. Guys that I call taking the jump here.
Ooh.
So I've got JC Horn at number 10. And Devon Witherspoon at number 9. These are guys that, Witherspoon has certainly had a more complete career or been better recently than JC Horn has. I just like these guys in 2025 to take that next step up. JC Horn, super athlete, can't stay healthy. He has struggled to really be on the field. And so it's hard to look at JC Horn and say, we've seen a full representation of him. Now, last year, he got to play a lot more. We got to see a lot more of him, and it wasn't awesome. But he was still coming off of an injury the year before. I'm curious. I think that this year we see the first full healthy version of JC Horn as a pro, and we see him live up to a little bit more of the hype there because the athleticism is still there. You still got to see glimpses of it last year. It was just the speed of the game wasn't all the way there. The feel of the game wasn't all the way there yet. I loved him coming out of college and is a guy that, he's a tier 1 CBAT. Of course, I'm going to get some guys on here that are tier 1 CBATs, but I really like JC Horn to take that step. And then Witherspoon is possibly my favorite run defending corner in the entire NFL. This man loves to hit. He is an outrageous run stuffer, and the coverage has come along little by little every single year. All it's going to take is 1 year for him to put the coverage together with clearly what he's got as a run stuffer to become one of these top 10 corners, to elevate himself into that tier. So I'm taking those two guys to just take a jump this year and enter the top 10.
All right, let's go back to my fart face and my graphics.
Whoa, we got to talk about JC. How do you feel about JC
on.
Horn? Is he on your list?
JC Horn is not on my list. Devin Witherspoon came very close to being on my list.
Yeah, I agree with Witherspoon. I think Witherspoon's one of the top 2 run defending slot cornerbacks in the NFL. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
But the JC Horn one caught me off guard a little bit, especially coming from Craig. I know he likes athletic corners, like that part made sense, but also like from what in the NFL, we haven't really seen anything instinctual at all from JC Horn. Like the worst part of his game is covering players, and that's kind of crazy. So I was a little surprised to see Craig go with JC Horn there, but like I get it for the making the jump aspect because he does have all of the traits that you look for. It's just it hasn't been put together. So I was a little surprised to see his name make this list.
This is me calling my shot a little bit.
I like
for
it.
2025 specifically. Sticking my neck out a little bit there.
Okay. Well, I'll go to my elite outsides. And that's there they are. Jalen Johnson.
That's
Sauce
right.
Gardner,
You'll go to your
Denzel
elite
Ward.
outsides.
My elite outsides. That's my next tier. I kind of waffled back and forth on this. Like Denzel Ward, like you kind of like there's been some health issues and stuff. Staying healthy has been a little bit of a struggle for him at times over the course of his career. But man, and honestly, like I knocked Jair Alexander pretty hard for that too. Like I really didn't even put him in consideration because the best ability is availability, but I didn't feel the same about doing it to Denzel Ward. And you want to talk about a guy that can play the run, that can dominate the flats. That's Denzel Ward out there. Like he makes some impressive plays out there against the run and run support. Good coverage player. I love Denzel Ward, even though he's had some injury history in the past. He's one of my favorite corners, and he gets the nod, the elite outside tier.
Yeah, I mean all the names make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a big complaint here. The only reason that Denzel Ward does not make my list just outside is just age. I think eventually, I think we'll start to see the step back, and you're going to see there are very few older cornerbacks on my top 10 list. We are actually kind of in a little bit of a prime for young CBs in the league right now. Denzel Ward is just a numbers game. He's so good. It's so instinctual. I mean, I know he doesn't get a ton of pub anymore because he's playing for a bad team and has played for a bad team for a very long time. But my goodness, when you turn on the tape, he's still just so good. So I get completely why he's on the list.
All right, Maddie.
Yeah, let's go ahead and toss up my third tier. We have the pineapple on pizza tier. These guys make any pizza better, but they aren't they're not the star. They're not excellent. You can't have just a pineapple pizza. These guys aren't elite, but they make everything better and they're extremely versatile. We have Christian Gonzalez, number 7, Denzel Ward, number 6. I think you can have these guys play any type of coverage you want on outside. They could probably kick into the slot if you ask them to. Man, zone, press, off coverage. You're never going to feel like you're at a disadvantage. But I also don't know at this point, because of Ward's age and general size, like he's not the biggest corner. And then Gonzalez is still kind of trying to find his footing. He maybe isn't the best tackler. I think that you could poke a few weaknesses in their game to where they don't take over games or they don't demand like, hey, we have to find this person every single play and figure out what's going on, but they're still very good players. So they're the pineapple on pizza, aka makes versatile and makes everything better, but maybe not the star.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Again, we talked about Ward. Christian Gonzalez, I think that the sky's the limit. Spoiler alert, he'll be on my list here in a little bit here. I
felt a little low.
Yeah, you're a little lower than I am, but I get it. Like I do. He's still got a lot to grow into. That organization's not great. They don't have a whole lot of talent that they're accumulating right now. They're not going to be a particularly great football team. But when we got to see him, he is just a man coverage corner. I think that it's outrageous how good he is in man. And I tend to, kind of stray towards those types of guys. It's just, anybody that can just line up and say, okay, I'm going to eliminate a guy from the field is always somebody that I'm going to rank very high up on the list. And I see that potential in Christian Gonzalez. So he's an easy top 10. I get why you're with him here.
All right, Craig, let's see your next tier here.
Yeah. My next tier, it's called the good to great tier. I've got Jalen Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell, and Marlon Humphrey on this list. We've already talked a little bit about Jalen Johnson. We talked a little bit about Marlon Humphrey. I don't know where you guys have Quinion Mitchell, but I'm going to talk about him a little bit. Rookie year last year for the Eagles. Regular season was fine. Like, he was good during the regular season. Don't get me wrong. He was good, but allowed 6.3 yards per target, about 55% completion percentage when he was targeted. It was what we saw from him in the playoffs that made me believe that he has taken that next step. In 4 games, he allowed 50% completion while targeted and 2.7 yards per target. That is outrageously low. Like, that is elite tier. So we got to see it ramp up in a big way in the biggest moments against the best teams. I think that is a little bit of an echo for what is coming for Quinion Mitchell here. So he made my top 10 in that spot.
How many? Oh, go Matty.
I would say he was a little bit lower for me, and I couldn't pick out exactly what it was about Mitchell's game. That it wasn't that he's a bad player by any means. Let me be very clear. I think Mitchell had a very good rookie season. I think he's an excellent corner, and the upside's incredibly bright. Just going back when I was glancing through some Eagle stuff, I thought it was clear for me that DeJean was better. Like, I just thought he was a better corner. Now, it's a different position. He's playing in the slot. Mitchell's outside. But, like, I had no doubts in my mind which one of those guys I thought was playing better football. So, like, I couldn't get him up above there. But, yeah, I mean, super young. He's a rookie. He came in. He was excellent. I think with Fangio's style of defense, I do think that there's a fair amount of help that gets structured in for those outside guys a little bit more. And it's a lot of positions. Just that's why I was a little bit lower on him. But, like, I get buying in on the hype. I understand why you would get it if you're going to get in early. What he showed, especially in the playoffs, I think that's what it's for. So I don't know where Kent stood with Quinion.
I had Quinion outside of my top 10, and I kind of leaned. I was probably more pro DeJean than pro Quinion in year 1. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I stand with Maddie on this one
wrong
as well.
You might be wrong. You might be wrong on that. Quinion Mitchell also. Tier 1 CBAT. I'm just going to call out all of those when they pop up here. Tier 1 CBAT. There's a trend here.
Craig, how many more tiers do you have?
2.
Yeah. Same.
I'm gonna let Maddie go next and share his tier.
Do you just have one more tier?
I have one more tier left.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 tiers left. So my next tier comes up. It's a bunch of guys we've already talked about. So, like, this is pretty easy. My final tier is their elite in their scheme. We got Sauce Gardner and Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think you let them play in the schemes that they are good at. Jalen Johnson, a lot more zone coverage. We can keep his eyes on everything. So probably still like a little bit of press for Jalen Johnson. Sauce Gardner, let him be in man, let him be in press, use his length, use his strength, and everything. You let them play in what they're comfortable with. They are elite. They change the game. You can't really ask them to play outside of that and get the same level of play. They're not as versatile as the 2 guys below them. I think Ward and Christian Gonzalez are more versatile than they are, but I do think when you let them play with their most comfortable one right now, they are probably more impactful than everybody else, so far on the list. So we talked about them a lot. I don't think I need to dive too much into those guys. That's just why I have them where they are, is they are very good. We haven't done Sauce Gardner too much yet. I think he had a little disappointing year last year. I think if you look at if you watched him, it felt like it was a step back. And I know there's a lot of changes going on with the Jets with, Robert Saleh getting canned in the middle of the year, and this defense is doing this, and Aaron Rodgers is kind of there, but I don't know what he's doing. And so it's just a weird season, right? And so I didn't think he played as well. He's working on his golf game, and maybe that's costing him how to play corner. Who knows? But yeah, it wasn't his best season, but I still think there's a ton of talent there. You dive into some of the advanced metrics. Actually, I guess he was still very good if you really start diving into the per targets and stuff like that. But still, watching him, it didn't feel as good. It felt like he was getting back to rookie level handsy, where he was getting quite a few penalties to start the year. So I would like to see him be more confident again, but I still think all the talent's there.
Yeah, it's league low. And I had this one at the ready here. League low, 0.6 yards per coverage snap. Was the best in the league at that. Now, that being said, Jets were not a good football team. There were a lot of teams that really went up on them big and just kind of ran the ball out. So there's a little bit of that you're going to see as a part of this, and maybe not, hey, don't target Sauce Gardner, but he's a ridiculously good football player. I'm still buying Sauce going forward. Yeah.
So Craig, do you have 2 more left then?
I have 2 more. So we can hit my next tier here. Next tier that I've got called Young Stars. I've got Christian Gonzalez, Sauce Gardner, and I get to be the first one to talk about Kansas City Chief Trent McDuffie here, coming in at number 3.
3, huh?
Trent is so damn good at football. Everything is so natural for Trent McDuffie. There is absolutely no reason why he should even be on the Kansas City Chiefs with the amount of success that they have had. This is a player that should have come way off the board way earlier than he was, and yet he's in Kansas City. I'm not knocking him for his height here because we've seen him play against some of these guys. The guys that get him, Maddie put this in the Discord the other day. It's giant receipt. It's AJ Brown likes to, it can get vertical on him with size. We've seen Josh Palmer do it. Yeah. We've seen, George Pickens did it a little bit in the game that we talked about it earlier this week. It's size. It's guys that can box him out a little bit when you do get to see that arm length show up just a little bit. I'm not even really knocking him for that because he's always in phase. He is the very definition of a ball denial corner. It is so rare that you see separation on Trent McDuffie. The catches that he allows tend to be with him draped all over the receiver, in the face, trying to make a play on the ball. And he got, he kind of got the goose egg out from under him with the interceptions this year. The floodgates opened a little bit. I think we saw when thrust into that outside role more this year, I was a little more worried about what he was going to be able to do as an outside cornerback. A lot of that was dispelled. Would I prefer to him to get to play inside full time because he is just the elite of the elite of the elite? Absolutely. However, he is still a top 5 corner on the outside. Trent McDuffie is so good, and the only reason that he's at 3 is because we got 2 other dudes on my list that are just that much better than everybody else right now. So no knock against Trent McDuffie. He's just number 3 on my list.
Fine, I'll post my top tier. And funnily enough, I was doing when we were doing the research, it actually wound up being the 4 guys that made All Pro. Outside of Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey's back at 8
in the All Pro tier. Interesting.
They're all in the All Pros tier. So all
Trent
4
McDuffie,
guys
number 2, huh?
Wound up making the All Pros tier. I'm a big Christian Gonzalez guy. I'm buying Christian Gonzalez stock. People forget he only played 4 games his rookie year. So I mean, he had a full season and he was just absolutely outstanding in his first real full campaign of the year. So very big on Christian Gonzalez. Trent McDuffie, I think Craig, you made a great point. He's gotten better and better as an outside corner. And I think that's one of the big steps for him is he has improved tremendously. I think the narrative around him from that Saints preseason game to now, and you're seeing the steps that he's taken. Yes, there's still some matchups that can get him, but for the most part, I think he holds up tremendously as an outside corner. And I put him at number 2. The inside outside versatility, he can do it all. The only player I have ranked ahead of him at the cornerback spot, by the way, it's Derek Stingley, Christian Gonzalez, Trent McDuffie, and number 1 is Patrick Surtain. There is no hole in Patrick Surtain's game. And honestly, I felt a little bit, I hate saying this about a Bronco. He probably deserves his own tier. He probably just deserves his own tier. I think he is just the most complete cornerback. He's got everything you want: size, speed, athleticism, physicality, good in man, good in zone. He can line him up wherever you want. I think he's the best cornerback in football, and I think he probably is a small tier ahead of the rest of those guys, but I really liked how that thing was packaged, so I just kept rolling with it. So that was my top 4. Maddie, we'll go with Maddie.
Sure. I mean, we're going to have all the same names in these top tiers, right? So you can do my top tier. It's just the order's going to be slightly different. I have Trent McDuffie at number 3, Derek Stingley at number 2, and Patrick Surtain the second at number 1. I almost put Patrick Surtain in his own tier. But I think the other 2 guys have done enough to be in the same tier for me. I'm not going to be disrespectful like Craig and put Trent McDuffie in a lower tier. I am going to keep him in the top tier with those guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else we can say. Surtain, I think Surtain is the most complete corner in the NFL. I think Craig is going to be a little bit higher on Stingley than Kent and I are. And it's not that I think Stingley's bad. I put him as a number 2 corner in the NFL. I just looking at his face when Kent was saying that he thinks Surtain belongs by himself. I think Craig clearly disagrees. I think from my standpoint, Surtain's just bigger and stronger than Stingley is, and Trent McDuffie. So like he can go up against more types of players, and he can defend the run probably a little bit better than Stingley can. He's a little bit better of a tackler. So I think Surtain does a little bit more than these other guys, specifically on the outside. Trent McDuffie's in there because he's a better run defender, better blitzer. He's a better utility knife than Stingley or Patrick Surtain are. He go into the slot and be a force player versus the run. He can go into the slot and be a better blitzer than those guys. He has legitimately more versatility to play on the field. So I think that at least allows him to hang in there. Then Stingley of this group is the biggest gambler. He takes the most risks. That also means he makes the most plays. He is the most playmaker of this bunch, especially making plays on the football. So they all do something, I think, a little bit better than the others. And that's why they're all at the top of the cornerback list at these specific things. So that's how they all kind of find themselves in this top tier. I think I called it, you have to find these guys before the snap, essentially, as in these are the only corners in the NFL that I think offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, find them pre-snap. And like, you got to do it. Because if you don't know where McDuffie's coming from, you're going to get hit blindsided as a quarterback. If you don't know where Surtain is, you're probably throwing the ball to a guy that's completely covered. If you don't know where Stingley is, you might just throw an interception, right? Now, there's a chance you catch him for a big play. Stingley was got for a lot of big plays, and that's what I think separates him from Surtain. I think his average yards per catch in man coverage were like 17 yards or something per catch for Stingley. So he gives up big plays, but he takes gambles. So that's how I settled on those 3.
I get it. I do. I get it. And I can't believe that we all talked about Trent McDuffie and Maddie was the first one to just allude to his blitzing. So I'm going to take a second and be like, he is one of the best blitzing corners in the entire NFL. I don't know.
The best run defending
corner. The best?
And one of the best. He might be the best.
The best.
I think
he might be the best.
Yeah.
I think Witherspoon's got him on run defense just by a hair, but on blitzing.
So
McDuffie might be
misses more tackles. I think that's he comes in, he hits better, but he misses more tackles. Trent McDuffie doesn't miss tackles. Like that's the thing. I was watching and I saw a couple plays where Witherspoon just went flying up and missed the tackle, and I went and looked, and he actually had a pretty high missed tackle percentage. Trent McDuffie don't miss tackles, so like
he doesn't miss tackles.
But they're 1-2 run defending, and then blitzing McDuffie is definitely
McDuffie's definitely tops. I mean, we got to see a little bit of that in college out of McDuffie, but once again, just like L'Jarius Sneed coming, into the NFL, gets slotted into a Spags scheme and all of a sudden just falls in love with blitzing and becomes one of the very best blitzing corners in the NFL. So yeah. All right. We ready for my tier? Any questions about Maddie's, Kent?
No. I want to hear Craig's tier. I want to hear what
my tier. Elite. Number 2, Derek Stingley, and number 1, Patrick Surtain the second. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about Derek Stingley. Maddie is right. He's a lot more of a gambler. Absolutely is a lot more of a gambler. It's why he makes more plays. However, you would think with being a lot more of a gambler, you would see a lot higher completion percentage. You would see a lot higher yards per completion. Derek Stingley is the only cornerback in the NFL over the past 2 seasons to be under 50% completion percentage, and he's done it both years. He has been outrageously good despite being a gambler. That is also translated into 5 interceptions over the past 2 years, or each of the last 2 years. Yep. And last year was in 11 games that he had those 5 interceptions. So he has just been unreal for that team. And much like I was talking about some of those players earlier, that some of the surrounding cast is depreciating around them. They're not going to have some of the same support. Derek Stingley's surrounding cast is not going away. The Houston Texans defense is going to continue to be good. I think from 2025, he is still an island corner. He is not a guy you want to throw at for a lot of reasons. I just can continue to see his upward trend into the upper echelons here. And the fact that I am so effusive in praise and still ranked him number 2 should tell you exactly how highly I think of Patrick Surtain II. It pains me to live in Colorado and watch one of the very best defensive players in the NFL on a rookie deal. Like, it hurts. I hate watching him play football because he's too damn good. He is as close to prime Revis as we have seen alongside Jalen Ramsey. We are looking at the upper echelon of this generation. We are going to talk about Patrick Surtain in the same way that we reference guys like prime Jalen Ramsey, like we reference guys like prime Darrelle Revis. He's already up playing football at that level. If he registers another year like last year, there you go. That's it. It's all said and done. Close the book. He can go ahead and be included in that same tier, in that same conversation. He does everything so flawlessly, so right. When you see him make a mistake, it is legitimately jaw-dropping because he's so good. And again, it hurts me so much as a Chiefs fan living in Colorado to say that, because that is the one thing that Broncos fans out here can say. And I just have to say, you know what? You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So one of the biggest, not sticking points, but like the reason that I still think for me, there's a little bigger gap. Stingley's like average depth of target on his passes, like completions or just when he's targeted, is significantly higher than Patrick Surtain and then Trent McDuffie. And like, these were all outside corners this year. But like, I was looking at in zone coverage, his average depth of target for Stingley is 13 yards down the field. Versus man coverage, it's like 16 yards down the field. Whereas McDuffie and Surtain are like 10 and 7 respectively.
It's down.
So it's just when you do have success at Stingley, teams try to push down. Now, part of that's, how he's playing at the line of scrimmage. Part of that's the defensive structure, but it just does seem like when you do have success against Stingley, it's chunkier plays. It's a little bit bigger plays. You're getting yards down the field. You're beating him over the top. And then like he's giving up a few more yards after the catch as well. Like it's not significant. Again, number 2 corner in the top tier. But like if I were to really get a fine tooth comb go through there, Surtain probably gets broken off on his own.
And see, and I get that. And again, you referenced it. It's the scheme. You've got a pass rush that is getting home like that. It's getting home so quick. So you're going to have a guy. You don't want a quarterback to be able to stand back there and dink and dunk and get the ball out of his hands quick. So you're going to be playing on the line of scrimmage. He's going to be roughing guys up. He's going to be trying to do that. Naturally, what is the way you get beat? When the pass rush doesn't get home, you miss up slightly on a press. Now you got a receiver with a step on you. The ball's down the field a little bit more. I completely get it. That is exactly where some of that comes from there. But it's also kind of why I love watching him play football. I want guys that are going to get up there and get in guys' faces, that are going to gamble a little bit. I mean, I'm an unabashed Marcus Peters fan, so I have to like guys that gamble. It's required. So, I mean, I'm a big Derek Stingley guy.
Fair. Craig, I know we were going to talk about Chiefs in the rankings, and we waxed poetic on Trent McDuffie.
Oh yeah.
So I'll ask you both this question.
Forgot there was more to the show
because Craig did the top 25.
It's like a Christmas.
How far do you have to expand your rankings before Jalen Watson is in them?
I knew this question was coming. This is part of the reason why I did top 25. I believe on a show 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Jalen Watson. And we were talking about where he slots in. I'm a little lower on Jalen Watson than you two are. Yes. And some may call me a hater here. I said that I think he's outside of my top 25. I wanted to put this together. The goal was not to, keep Jalen Watson out of it. I was trying to figure out where he was. I've got him in that next 5 group. Like when I was sitting there and I was looking at this, I kind of I didn't rank the next 5. I'm sorry. I should have. But he's in that next tier of guys right after that top 25. I think that he's probably right in there. And again, wasn't my goal to try and mirror what I said that one off the dome. And then I went, let me see what happens if I rank 25 guys. And I did have 25 guys that I liked a little bit better, but he's right there. He's right in that next tier to the point where I genuinely debated whether or not he would inch his way in over some of those other guys.
Whew. Man, Watson was really good last year. I without having to go all the way through, I think somewhere in the 20 to 30 range is roughly what I would expect. Looking at some of the names that Craig had in the bottom of his list, like I think he could be in competition with them. I think the thing with Watson is he's a little bit more scheme specific than some of the other guys. Some of the guys that Craig ranked can probably do a few more things than what Watson can. But hey, you want to give me a guy that's going to play press, man or even press and have to just run the vertically up, on a quarters or something like that, Watson's really good. And looking at his man coverage stats last year, and okay, listen, PFF gets a little confused on man and zone when it's match stuff. Okay. But I'm assuming that they have Jalen Watson's man reps as anything that he's just carrying a wide receiver that he's lined up on vertically. He had the best coverage grade. He had the third best passer rating against. He gave up 2 receptions on 11 targets over 96 snaps. Like, he was exceptional in how I envision like his best snaps looking. If he can do that for an entire year, again, and stay healthy, we're definitely talking about how this guy in the top 20. And it's scheme specific. So like, I want to be very clear. This is a more scheme specific guy, but Charvarius Ward has been a top 20 corner in the NFL, probably better the past few years. Tell you what, Jalen Watson's reps last year for the Chiefs are better than anything Charvarius Ward did for the Chiefs specifically, not for the 49ers, but for the Chiefs. So like, we're on the right trajectory right now to keep climbing up these rankings.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. But yeah, to your point, I have a hard time putting him much higher than 15, even with a full year like that. I would have a hard time putting him higher than 15 just because, and again, that's an indicator of how good cornerback play is around the league right now. It is so hard to rank these guys. It's part of why I wanted to do 25. It is very, very difficult to do this because there are too many good ones right now. Kim, I saw you about to jump in.
No, it's fickle. It is.
I
mean, it's a position you can fall off quickly, injuries, all this stuff. Did you have Jair Alexander in your top 25 at all? I can't.
Yes,
remember.
I did. He was 18. He was 18. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, Jair Alexander, when he's healthy, is probably even closer to the top 10. Right. And so it's just like, this is like, we're supposed to talk about changes here. Like, it's the most fickle. It can be one of the more fickle positions. You can see a lot of fluctuation. You can see, some guys falling off, and it's, like, there's cases to be made. Like, and it's a position that doesn't age gracefully all the time either. So, it'll change rapidly. And like, betting on the young guys isn't a bad move, Craig, because you also find out very quickly about these cornerbacks too, whether or not they're elite or not. So
it's also a good tackler. I just put that in there too. Also a very good tackler. And like, I think that does matter.
Jahdae Barron could be somewhere in that conversation, and that's terrifying because he's also a Denver Bronco.
Absolutely.
This time next year.
I mean, who could be Tareeb Still for the Chargers? I think he's actually really good last year.
He was really good. He was really good.
I watched a couple stuff, and like, it still looked very rookie-ish, like, right, which is what you would expect. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to put him in my group right now, but like, he was good enough that I went and gave him an extra watch, and I was like, oh, that's a name to keep in mind. Mike Sanders still, I thought he played really good, especially early in the season. He runs into the same issue. He's not a slot corner despite being small. He is an outside corner despite being tiny, but I do like how he plays. Who are we have the rookie corner for Detroit from Bama, who was
Terrion Arnold.
And then Wiggins. Is it Wiggins for the Ravens?
Nate Wiggins.
Yeah. Both those guys, I think, flash. Like, there's a lot of young guys coming up that can get in here, which makes it hard. To your point, hey, Jalen Watson, this very scheme-specific corner who can do this one thing really, really well. How far can you take him when all these young guys are coming up through the ranks right now?
Especially when you have other guys like Garrett Williams just kind of burst onto the scene. Like, he's been good the past 2 years, and that's a guy that people don't talk about. They don't. And I kept moving him down the list. I had him much higher in my 25, and I kept moving him down. I was like, oh, I like that guy just a little bit better. And but I mean, he's really, really, really good. And so, like, it's such an abundance of good cornerback play right now. It's insane.
Renardo Green could fight in there. I talked about him a little bit earlier, but I thought he was good for the 49ers. Kyler Gordon, if he bounces back from what I thought was a down year last year, could get back in there. Like, I know he was some people's like sleeper kind of guy to be rising up last season. I thought he had a little down years. Like, there's a lot of talented corners out there right now, and they do so many different things. It's really hard to rank.
It is.
Well, you guys just brace yourselves because Noel Williams is coming. Here we go.
I mean, maybe.
So is Kaiir Elam.
No, he's not.
Oh, that's cool. Look at that. There's the top 10
perfect.
for Craig, Maddie, and Kent here. I'm not going to read all these names.
Wow, we would have all had the same top 3, but Kent is a generational hater of Stingley.
Yeah, he is.
Imagine
Imagine
not getting it on the ground floor of Derek Stingley.
Do you guys remember pre-show when I said, "Oh wait, I think I messed that up," and I was gonna have to go back and change the graphic? It was about where Derek Stingley was in Ken's list. I was like, "There's no way I must have messed that up."
They're all.
That's what I would have thought too.
I just want to say that all three of us, half of our top 10 are tier 1 CBAT individuals. It matters. Athleticism matters the most of this position of any other position in the NFL. It really, really does. So even though we've got some different names in there and different tier 1 guys in there, it matters so very much.
Especially when you look at players that might hit outside of early rounds. Like if you're going to find a player have success, like that's where you bet on that athletic testing as well. Like that's a big contributing factor. All this. It has been an absolute delight to be with these two gentlemen today. That is going to do it for a 75-minute episode. 75-minute episode of the KC Laboratory. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, supporting. We love you. We love Craig. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Imagine being so low on Derek Stingley and just being a hater.
So low. Hater.